We ready? All right. Good evening and welcome to Madison Advisory Budget Committee. It is 6 p.m. on Tuesday, July 14th. And welcome. To my left is Noreen Downs. To my immediate left is Nan Bartlett. To my right is Joe Dame, who is the Selectman's representative. To his right is Jim Curran, who is the school board representative. And to his right is Charlie Allen. The only member we are missing tonight is Doug McAllister, and he is home recuperating, so he is excused.
Is he okay? We don't know yet.
Home recuperating.
Home recuperating, not for me to discuss.
Good. All
Yeah.
right.
He was at the SLAM meeting on Saturday.
Oh, was he? Good.
Yeah,
Good.
no,
good,
and
good,
he looked well to me, and I spoke with him briefly. He's doing well,
good.
which is
Good,
good. I was happy to hear that.
Jim, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I think this is our first meeting since the 250th anniversary of our nation. So happy birthday, everyone.
Yeah.
The old home week schedule is out, just FYI for people watching.
I saw that Selectman Greg posted it
Yeah.
on Facebook.
So
I
yeah,
hadn't
it's
zoomed
out
in.
and it looks really good, a lot of good stuff this year.
Yeah. Okay. Next order of business are June 16th minutes. Have you all had a chance to read them? Does anyone have any comments?
I just saw your name needed to be corrected under the meeting called to order. You're just missing an N in your shilling.
Oh, yeah, it says Schillig.
Yeah.
And then I actually saw, I think on there was some place, oh no, that was on the CIP minutes. It confuses because we're both on the same, that was on those minutes. Your name needed to be corrected to a capital D. All right, anyone else? Well, there being no other comments or corrections, I will entertain a motion to approve the June 16 minutes.
So moved.
Second, Joe Dane, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You can approve. You can
No, I'm
vote.
abstaining.
No.
I wasn't here, so I can't.
Oh,
No,
I
yes, you
can't,
can.
okay.
Actually, you can.
But I will abstain because
Okay.
I
you
did
have a
not.
copy to read.
Right,
Yeah.
but I wasn't involved in the content. I can't verify.
So we checked with the lawyers on that, and the lawyers have told us repeatedly, you do not have to have been present at the meeting to vote on the meeting minutes. All you're voting for is that these
Minutes are okay.
are accurately, basically reflect conversation. And I know that you weren't privy to that conversation,
Yeah.
but,
And Sharon, I'm not elevated, so I can't vote.
you can't vote.
That's right, then you got enough votes.
Yeah, I do still
We
have
got
votes, but I'm
three.
gonna also
Four, yeah,
elevate.
we got quorum,
Two.
majority.
Yeah, we
You
do.
do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We do. Bartlett. Motion.
What's holding things up for you?
and-
Yeah.
I'm an alternate.
She's an alternate. She just stays an
How
alternate.
many board members are
I thought we
active?
I thought we
There are
elevated.
5 active and 2 alternates, up to 2
So
alternates.
1, 2, 3, 4. She could be fifth, right?
She can be, yeah, if she wanted to be a primary member, but she
She
chose.
doesn't want to.
She chose not to.
Well, I'm an alternate, but you can still elevate
Yes.
Well, you
In
can
the
fill in
absent-
tonight, right?
in the absence of
Since
a
we're-
regular member.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, in the absence of Doug.
Right.
Noreen can
If
fill it.
if we needed a
Mhm.
a quorum, we needed to reach the
Got
quorum,
it.
we would have to
Okay.
elevate her,
Alright.
so. Okay. I'm staying current, still catching up. So, those are done, these are approved. Alright, we have no public, so I presume there's no public comment unless anyone on the board committee would like to make comments about anything that's not actually on the agenda. If there's something that's not on the agenda, if you'd like to comment about it, now's your time. Anyone?
It's all
No?
here.
Yeah, it's mostly all here. Okay. And then Mr. Curran, it's your floor. Can you give us, I know 3 of us were at the joint meeting.
Mhm.
I guess it technically wasn't really a joint meeting, it was us on your agenda.
Correct. Yeah,
So,
but you were able to address through
Yeah.
the, so it was effectively a joint meeting.
Yeah, effective.
So we just kind of went through our year-end fund balance is very high. We're looking at over $900,000 potentially of a year-end fund balance, which is, I'd say, the highest I've seen in a long time. And a lot of that is due to lack of filling certain staff positions last year and special ed costs that we were able to manage in district rather than out of district. We did, with those laws that were potentially being passed through, and it seems like one of them didn't pass, which was taking the numbers that we turned back and set our budget. So we did spend down a little bit of our current year's balance, but I think it was to the tune of $135,000.
Yeah,
But that was to sign on, get a contract underway with the New Hampshire School Boards Association to do a strategic plan for the school, which is something that we've talked about for at least the last 8 months or so, but didn't get it in our actual budget. We ordered we paid for the bathroom remodel that was set to happen out of the CIP, so we'll save the money in the CIP, potentially not have to raise as much next year to fill that. We bought the ski trailer that the axle died on last year. That's the guy who tows that trailer. I'm thankful for that. And then we did we had some of that washout on the road. And then we had the backfield that was drooping a little bit, so we prepaid and got a contract underway to do the landscape to fix those areas that need to be done.
And what happens to the surplus?
The surplus will get effectively, it's reduced from the amount of taxation for next year.
Okay.
So when the selectmen say, okay, the school board was approved $7 million,
Mm-hmm.
there's $900,000 that we don't need. So it'll be,
From the town.
will only have to appropriate $6.1 million.
It's basically the same thing that happens.
You carry it over.
So it's not carried over.
It's
no.
not carried, yeah.
But it's also not there's no check that gets cut back to the town.
Yeah, it's carried over against the new budget.
Correct. It's held in, there's not, some of it we haven't even accepted taken from the town as of yet. Because we'll take as we need, or we'll request as we need.
Right, and you actually, the school does paperwork to request to send
Yes.
to the town.
Heather Sherwood works with whoever's in the
See her.
administrative office up here to set a budget for the year to say, okay, here's, like, we know July 1 is a big Conway bill. So we know we're gonna need $700,000 July 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start to budget, and Heather will set that budget up so that we know December 1, I think, is another big one for the Conway bill. So we know when those big things are happening, but then they try to budget out through the year what we need through the whole cycle. But then, yeah, so it's not a check cut back, it's less that's appropriated, which falls into the MS forms at the end of the year,
Mhm.
which we do in September 1st. But then that'll also, part of why we did that, which we don't normally do, is because one of the laws that was sitting on the governor's desk to pass is whatever we turn back comes to offset. And then the second law that was going into place, or was sitting on her desk to be signed, was the tax cap. So like a 3.5% tax cap. But if they both went into, either of them alone are fine. Both of them together in year 1 with a big fund balance, our tax cap would be based on the 6.1, not the $7 million.
Mhm.
So it was really gonna affect a lot of other things in play. But we took it and said, okay, what were we going to do? Not, hey, how can we spend this money to spend it down? It was what were we gonna do anyways, or what we're gonna need to find money to do. That's why we did what we did.
So it was 152,800 something, so,
Yep.
those projects.
Okay.
So Jim, you spent an hour in non-public and then came back to regular meeting and then another hour. So can you sort of update us on the actions as a result of your non-public? I mean, I looked up the minutes,
Yeah,
but
so-
I'm thinking I need a little more clarification.
Okay, so, actions as a result of non-public were, that was like 2 weeks ago.
I know, right?
It was.
So we hired, a point five,
5-6.
six, I was gonna say five,
Custodian.
three, custodian. So we have a staff member in the building, so prior to that meeting, we were down to one custodian.
Right.
That was it for the whole building. So we brought, one of our, current staff who was at .44, brought that person to .56, to 1.0 FTE.
Mhm.
Half of the time basically will be spent in the kitchen, the other half of the time will be spent doing custodial services for the school. That person will also be able to, will work through the summers, more on the full-time basis to help clean the building. But it effectively reduces our custodial staff from 2.0 to 1.56. And then we approved a, grant, Title IV.
Wait, so, I'm sorry, let's go back.
Yes.
This wasn't an existing custodian, this was a kitchen person?
It was a existing kitchen person, .45, I think, .44.
So that's the question I have, Jim, because I believe it was approved when you approved all your staffing, whatever
Yeah.
meeting May, whatever that was. She was approved for .56.
So she is, then .44 is the custodial side. So her job is just to go to 1.0.
Go to 1.0.
Mhm.
All right,
Full-time.
I'm sorry, lunchroom is .63 and you approved .56 for an employee. So that brings it over the,
However it works down, it's no more
So-
than
okay, all right,
1.0 FTE.
Okay.
The way-
yeah.
It's one full-time person.
So the
But it
need,
may, so the only part that may be a little weird with it is because of the summer.
She got enough cooking.
That's why it might be, the summer, she'll probably be full-time
okay,
but that won't be this summer. Because this summer she had a previously existing job in place. So the summer will pick up a little more because it'll be year-round versus just,
mhm,
because school year, full-time equivalent is different than full year.
yep.
So that's.
So you just brought a part-time employee onto a full-time position?
Elevate them to a full-time position,
Okay.
correct.
Yep,
And there were benefits already associated with the part-time,
right,
so it wasn't going to full benefits either.
right. And then later on, when you came back, you went non-public and then came back again, you're gonna repost the head custodian's position?
They're
Is that
gonna,
correct?
so we did not get the responses we had hoped.
Right,
So what we're gonna try to do is repost that as a full-time.
full-time,
So we reduced the custodial down and we're reposting what we cut back on the head custodian to full-time. We're just trying to make sure we can find a full-time person that
to
can.
coverage.
Well, they can, not just coverage, but manage no, not just manage the custodian, manage the building,
Yeah.
the electrical contractors,
Yeah,
the heating contractors. So somebody who's dealing with the higher end, ordering the supplies and things like that.
Right,
So we're just trying to shift to make it work
Yep.
for what is needed.
mhm,
And then the other piece that we
So
did, yeah, go
That'll
ahead.
then, if you were able to hire for that, that'll take you to what? 2.5?
It'll still be 2.5, which is where we had it.
Yeah, before.
Anyways, it'll just be the two roles reversed. So
Okay.
custodial services will be the 1.5, and head custodian will be back to 1. Where it was, we were dropping that to a 0.5 position, I think, or 0.48. So we just kind of flipped them to hopefully get
Mhm.
somebody in the role that can manage the facility
building.
itself.
Yep. Okay.
The other thing we did was we approved the Title IV grant that was written for a makerspace, which is based around STEAM. It's over my head, it really is. So it's science and math
after school and before school.
Hmm.
And then, so it's a 0.2 position for that.
How much
But
was
it's
it?
grant based.
It's grant funded out of Title, okay, so Title IV, 25, 26, we had leftover money we could use,
Mhm.
and 26, 27, and then Title I will cover whatever's left over of that.
How much was the grant total, do you remember?
So the Title IV grants are maxed out, I believe, at $10,000 each. That's the max you can get for the state.
Okay,
And from what we've learned over the last few years is getting approval for the Title IV grant is very difficult.
Mhm.
That, I believe the gentleman's name at the state is Stan. His name's come up many times. He doesn't approve many activities, so that's why most people they stop applying for it because it's very hard to get.
so you guys qualified.
So we did
Congratulations.
they wrote a grant, they wrote it specifically for this makerspace, and it's a booster, let's try to get it.
Nice.
Okay, so the only hiccup I have,
Yeah,
it is a Title IV, but what you did with it, the person hired, it's a 0.2.
correct.
So you brought that person to a full-time, it's the media position, you brought
It
it
is
to
the
a
library.
full-time position,
Correct.
okay? So I have a problem with that because in itself, the media position, if you were to line up with all the other IAs, the media position and its scope really only needs 3 days. So if you wanted that particular person or whatever to provide STEM, you could have used that 4th day that's already in place and provided all students access to the STEM program. Right now, you really have, if it's offered before and after school, you have not offered it to all students because not everybody's going to be able to participate before and after school. Transportation, babysitting, other activities. Do you see what I'm saying? So I guess what I take exception to, plus you had a STEM program that was approved this past May.
That was a pilot.
Right. So clearly, using that pilot, is that what you based this grant on? I mean, how many kids participated
So
in that one?
they were getting the data for us. I didn't have all of it.
Right.
I don't have all of it here with me
No.
to answer those questions, but yes. So
Right.
they were basing it on what the it's designed to reach the neediest and then work down
Right.
of students who maybe not have something else that they excel or excel's not the word I'm looking for. It's
Embrace.
something that they embrace, right? So they don't embrace sports, or they don't embrace,
No.
a different program. So it's to help also offset their learning.
Mhm.
So to challenge them in different ways.
Mhm.
So that, and it's also meant to not be it's meant to be a free program for those students, and that's why the grant.
Right, but again, you're targeting a certain group, and I guess my question is, you don't seem to have the answers. How many different students? How often was it offered? And I do know there were 2 positions, and it was approved by the board, and they were stipend positions. They weren't positions such that you elevated a 0.8 to a full-time. And that, I guess, because there's been a lot of discussion around that media position.
And we cut that media position last year. Now there is
Yes.
so I will say this clearly, there is absolutely no dollars other than a couple of pennies, and I said that at our meeting too.
Right.
There are no dollars other than a few pennies coming out of the school district budget to support this after, whether it was a certain staff or not.
Right.
The salary and benefits were all included within the grant. So we're not picking up extra benefits at the school level.
You know,
I
I
think
understand
that's
that.
because-
It's,
I think what the point you're trying to make is, if you have it before school and after school, your universe is gonna be so big. Whereas if you had it during school,
correct.
the universe could be much bigger, and that would expose it to more kids.
and your math is where you need to target. I guess, in my opinion, I think, it's a media position is 3 days. It's on the books right now for 4 because it went from 5 to 4. A lot of discussion around that, and I know a lot of it was very emotional. But I think you, as board members, have to start looking at how do we best educate these kids with the least amount. We're talking media now, and it was clear, because the budget didn't pass, it was a 4-day position.
Correct.
The job itself could be done. The responsibilities of the scope of what media provides can be done in 3. You could have taken the 4th day, all kids could have benefited. Our math scores aren't, and I would have, if you're gonna write a grant, write something, maybe some PD for you in math, or, really specific targeting.
But a grant cannot, and I get this word backwards all the time, a grant cannot supplant. You can't take a grant and push it to an existing program inside the building. You can't take a grant and use it to supplant the activities. This is to supplement. And they're so close, that's why I get them confused all the time. This is something different. This is something new. Now, is this makerspace going to be available for the teachers to utilize during the day? Yes. There'll be more availability during the day to use it as we move forward, because once we get the equipment and everything else, then it's a matter of people learning to use it, staff-wise, to be able to train on it as well. So it adds a level of benefit there.
So this full-time position,
Point two.
are they going to, all right, it's 0.2 added to a 0.8. Are they gonna work 5 days a week, or are we still working 4 days a week? Because that's a terrible precedent to set. You could have a full-time special educator say, I can provide all my services in 4 days.
This person is gonna work 1 FTE, 1 full-time equivalent, and based on the hours. So if you look at the collective bargaining agreement, it tells you how many hours a day is full-time. It could be extra hours in each day, a couple extra hours on either side of each day. But it is a it's not gonna be handled
So it's not,
or paid for within the workday. Within the scheduled school day, it is not going to take place.
all right. I have an opinion on it.
I see that clearly, and apparently you have more information
Well,
than just what you read in the minutes, so I'm okay with that as well.
all right, I'm not gonna speak to that. What I will say is, in my opinion, I wish the grant was written for the benefit of all Madison Elementary students, specifically in the math department. Specific. To me, I feel more like the grant was written specific for a position.
So there's been a lot of talk over the years from other board members about having a program like this. To start it, you can only offer it to so many. Now, do we offer it, if it's offered 4 days a week or 5 days a week, I don't know how many days a week it's offered exactly. But can Sharon and Nan take part on Monday and Tuesday, and Noreen and Joe take part on Wednesday and Friday, and Jim and Charlie, thank you, take part on just Wednesdays? Yes. So we're going to try to make sure that every kid that wants to be available, that wants to be involved in it, can be involved in it. I mean, we're going to try, and you know what?
How did it work in the spring, though? Is that what we're?
It was the same. It was based
Before and after school.
It's based on a need. The neediest get the offer first, and then it trickles down from there. And you and Sharon may say, you know what, not interested.
Not interested.
You know,
in makerspace.
my most needy, math, not interested. And then we're going to trickle it down. It's new. It's not written in stone, but we're going to try to offer it and have it available to all students. They're going to try to offer it right from kindergarten through sixth grade as well.
Cause
Can I ask what are the metrics that you'll be using to validate whether or not this program is successful? What does that look like?
I don't know
I
that.
don't know.
This
Is it
just
possible for us
happened.
to get a copy of the grant request?
It is, I don't know how that falls in the budget committee's purview, but it's grant
It
funded. It doesn't affect,
could it affect?
no.
So
Well,
if this
not this
program-
year, but if
If-
the program
no,
becomes
If the program becomes budgeted, we'd have to put it in our budget and explain it to the town, and at that point is when it could. As of right now, there is no plan to make this a
program of
town-funded program. It is specifically designed, right now, as a grant-funded program with no cost coming from the
What's
district.
the timeline for the grant? Is it a 1 year?
So
one
the
school
the
year?
Title IV are, they run, you can utilize them over 2 years.
Okay. No, because if this gets up and running and wow, it's
Right,
it's
and-
really
and-
great,
and
right?
That's when we'll
What are you gonna
have
do
more
for
of a
future
matrix to
funding?
show
Yeah.
of what you're looking for.
What's the outlook
Hopefully
to
you
fund
improve
this
scores.
if it's
Right.
successful, right? That's, I think. we
Right,
need to-
if there is a
the
way to prove success, and we can prove success with this and say, okay, let's loop it into keeping the after-school part, but now let's loop it into a day a week, or for each class. That's when we have to sell it to the taxpayer and say, here's what we've done, here's what we would like to do now. That's where we move forward for that.
What's the anticipated impact? What do you see as, what is your goal, as Sharon mentioned? Are we looking at an increase in our math, science scores? You know what I mean? How, again, what, you know, you're gonna have a grant, or have a program, you know,
What's
what
the
is-
objective?
What's the objective?
It's
You know, we wanna raise our students'
It's
scores.
finding a different level of engagement for the students
Okay, no, I'm
in
just-
those areas that are maybe more fun than just doing math. I mean, we have one staff member who does the maple sugaring, and you know she's presented, and the kids really enjoy that because it's outside and it's doing maple, but it's there's a lot of math involved with it.
Science.
Right. It's the same type of thing. We're just trying to find better ways and utilize grant funding to get us there.
To engage.
Yes.
To engage, no, I'm,
Because some kids in the general
Reading,
population sort of shy away.
reading has been a focus for many years, and I understand that reading is your first focus, you know, because you learn to read and then you read to learn. But if in math, I think has been pushed aside for many years.
yeah, but critical skills.
Yes.
Oh my God, in the new society,
Not,
technology.
not,
we're
not
living
to mention curriculums that keep changing.
in, you know.
My wife was a teacher
Mhm.
for 30 years at John Fuller, and I would, every time she turns around new curriculum, and I'd look at it and go, wait, I got an engineering degree. I look at, why are you teaching in this way?
Because that's what they're told they have to teach.
That's
Yeah,
what they're
it's
This
told.
is state
The
mandate.
state
And
mandate.
it's
Yeah.
garbage. It's a bureaucrat justifying his position.
Okay.
All
So,
right.
moving on then, can you talk to us about where contract negotiations stand? I know
Yeah,
that you covered
so-
this, but at least
so
for
they
this
don't.
audience, they don't.
Contract, so we're going into year 2 of the current collective bargaining agreement that has already been approved by the town.
Mhm.
We'll be budgeting for year 3 of it. The board is at public input, will take any input people have related to it under advisement, and the board starts talking about it generally in January, and it's non-public, about where we stand and where we think and what we've heard from the town would like to see in negotiations. Negotiations will generally start in June of next year or July. And we always try to have them wrapped up by November, early December. Sometimes it's been as late as early January, but that's where negotiations would stand with the collective bargaining.
I know you and I have spoken about this in the past. One of the things that need to be included in the future negotiations is we have to do better on the health insurance premiums.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't afford the $45,000 a head for.
47.
47,000.
And,
You know,
and,
that needs to be looked at as part of any negotiations.
and I think Heather has been working hard. It's very difficult, because you're dealing with a different risk pool. But we've shopped around a little bit. Last year, spent multiple hours. We had multiple proposals out there, but we had to go out to 4 collective bargaining units to
No, I
get
understand.
approval just to make a small change. We did get it, and that was last minute. That was even after I think the budget was posted.
Mhm.
But no, we are, and looking at cost sharing, I think that's a big part of it too. You know, is finding a way to maybe higher the deductible, lower the cost, find a little more cost sharing, and trying to make it work for people.
Well, I mean, the insurance premiums were what, about $840K? I mean, it's a huge part of the school budget.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, that seems to be almost like similar to what Sharon and I and others on the past ABC, we looked at options for the town. We were able to save $100,000 just for 12 employees, 11 employees.
And I think
the first year.
I think we saved $98,000
Mhm.
last year.
Okay.
No, I know you're
It's,
looking at it,
it,
but
I was gonna say, and it's it's not a problem unique to Madison, it's an
No.
issue across the
It
country.
is.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking to the Medicare guys. And they
Healthcare is
said
out of control.
It's gonna
It
go
is.
up, but the premium come January is probably gonna be around 217, 218 as opposed to the 202 that it currently
is it? Medicare's going up again this year?
Yep, will go
Yeah.
up again. So, you know, it's not, again, it's not a unique problem to Madison, but I do know that it is a significant cost to the budget. It's a significant piece of the budget, and I think it's worthy of reviewing all the time to see what, if anything, can be done to bring costs down, but also not to punish the employee
Oh,
either
yeah, no, I agree.
to make sure that they are getting adequate care and adequate access to the resources that they need. So, yeah, it
But
just
the one thing-
nobody wins except
No.
for the insurance company. So.
No, I agree. It's all, but what I see, Jim, is we have 47,000 for a school family plan. And the town is about 32,000. Why do we have a $15,000
The
difference?
organizations.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
For similar plans, I mean, the town plan's a really good health
It's a
insurance
good plan.
You know, but
That's
wait, you
what's
know,
hard
why
to
do
sell.
we have such a discrepancy, you know?
It is,
Yeah.
but part of the problem, and I think it's part of how we have to negotiate the change of that,
Mm-hmm.
is the language that's in the collective bargaining agreements allows them to be involved in the
choosing.
choosing the
Selection
plan.
of the plan,
Yes.
yes, okay.
And I mean, currently, school care is owned by the New Hampshire School Boards Association, the union, NEA New Hampshire, and there are like 3 or 4 owners, but look at who the owners are. I mean, and I've said that for years.
Mhm.
And who was the carrier for your school?
So we are with
School care.
School Care, which is a Cigna program.
Yeah, I was
So
just
it's Cigna, but
saying
School
Cigna.
Care is the carrier. Cigna is the provider.
Yeah, because I know SAU 9 had Harvard Forever and got rid of that and went to Anthem.
Yep, and they change, and we did. I mean, but last year we got hit with not only $100,000 last summer,
Mhm.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
then we got hit with a 19% or 21%
It's 22, and
effective
then-
increase.
and then
Then
your
the changes
Changes to 17.
got it down.
Yeah, but
So I mean,
That's still-
and that was the 20% on anything. I don't care who you are, or what you are. That's a killer.
20% is a lot.
And it affected the staff as well,
Sure.
because their 12% portion went up by 20%
Yeah.
as well.
Their co-pay, co-share
Yeah.
went up as well, yeah, of course.
And the change in the plan that we made their out-of-pocket costs go up as well.
Okay,
So that's where we helped to mitigate some of that. It was, and for some, it's a benefit, because it's some of it was built around HRAs in there and everything.
Mhm.
So for some, it's a benefit. If you don't use,
The medical.
you get to carry that HRA as a health HSA. I'm sorry, health savings account
Yeah,
that just keeps rolling. So when you retire in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, if you haven't used that money, you can use that for health later in life.
You can pay for major health issues or something.
Or you can pay Medicare.
Yeah, cause it
Or
rolls,
supplement.
it rolls.
Right, yes.
Okay,
There are no supplements
no,
here.
just, I know,
No,
I know I'm beating a dead horse.
No,
but-
it's fine.
But I see that as, you
Yeah.
know, it's unsustainable, it's gonna kill the
27 is
school
what we're
budget.
going
Well,
into,
that's the
right?
budget that passed in Jan, in
Yeah.
March.
This is the one
This is
we're
the
gonna
one
be
we've been
working.
working on, right,
So this is.
this is the one that just went past.
Alright.
So it's not confusing, we always have to remember that. we're
25, 26 just ended.
Just finished.
26, 27 is
Yeah.
beginning.
Now, we are now in
That's approved.
26, 27.
We're in 26, 27
Right,
Right, and we'll
approved.
be working on
Approved.
27,
As of
28
July
for the
1st.
school.
Right.
So, we really, within this next budget, the school really needs to think hard about the health insurance, that's where it needs to be.
So, but
For 27, 28.
Well, that'll be the
no,
third year.
27, 28 will be the
Yeah,
third year of the
year.
collective
We're
bargaining.
already in
Correct.
the 26.
So they can't change
27.
the
No.
insurance.
No,
It's
I
too
know they
late this
can't
year.
change it.
But
But you
we're
still
never not
working.
working on it.
Mhm.
I know, but I think I've been harping on you guys for about 5 years now.
And I think we've been hearing you, Nan. I
Yeah,
mean, but change doesn't happen overnight. We've got 4 collective bargaining agreements under the SAU that they're working on. They've got a risk pool that's a different size than the town. They have more than 10 or 12 employees.
I know it's not easy.
But you gotta remember, I've got one BA who's doing all of this collectively. And when the insurance companies say, well, the problem is with schools, it's a little different because our year runs July 1 to
Right.
June 30.
Yeah.
The health insurance companies run January 1 to December 31. So they're trying to take multiple years of our risk pool, which she has to provide, then they're like, no, we want the last 3 months, not the next 3. And,
Oh, I know it's
and
not
it's,
easy.
so but it's not as easy as 12 employees at the town saying, here's what we're doing and here's what we're changing.
Mhm.
It has been looked at, it's being addressed. As a board, we want it to change. And as a board, we've, over the years, as the board has evolved and changed, we've said, we need to pick up and pay more. We were, at one point, we were down to 6% employee costs, and
I know.
we graduated it back up, and did it in steps. Next year you'll do 10, and then 11, then 12, or 10, 12, or, whatever.
SAU is 20.
Right.
Right, they all vary,
Yeah, they
and
do.
it's, but do you give a 5.5% raise to offset the first year of a jump in the health insurance, or,
I don't think there will be raises, not when, I mean.
right, but then,
I think you have to look at the total package,
But you-
total
you-
compensation.
negotiations
Mhm.
are not just saying,
Right,
here it is.
right, no, I agree.
If
Yep,
I go into them and
understand.
say, and I'm gonna throw stupid numbers out there
Yeah.
because we're not in, if I go in and say, no raises this year, and we're going up on your health insurance, you're going from 12 to 24.
Right,
They're gonna say,
see you later.
Get
Right.
out of here. Right.
or give me, or they're gonna give me a counter proposal that says, well, we'll go to 16%, but we want a 7.5% raise.
Yeah.
And we've been down this road, then it's like, you don't appreciate us. We've heard this many years of, you don't appreciate us. That's not it. It's, we
No.
also have to,
No.
but that's what we hear, and that's the verbiage that
I
comes
know,
out to the
political.
town.
I know.
You've been there, Nan, you've
I
seen
know.
it, and it's like, you don't appreciate your staff. Then they get the union, the bosses, the big guys come down and they say, you treat your employees like shit. But it's all about, we're trying to figure out for the town, yes.
Right, it has to be a balance.
But it has to be a balance, so you
No,
have
I
to
agree.
give and take.
I agree.
And if
I agree.
negotiation is no give and take,
Right.
it's not negotiation.
No, I agree, but I honestly, I just feel the last several years, I think, the school board has given more than.
But we haven't, or we've been
I
pushed into
disagree.
it.
Yeah, well,
And if you really
show
look,
me the money, show me the
Done.
results.
done.
Where's the math, where's the science, where's the, the reading, show me the money. And then I'll show you a raise.
But that's not the way the
I know it,
negotiated
I know.
agreements work, and
I
that's
know.
their issue, is that they're.
Right.
they're- I don't wanna say-
Performance-based in school budgeting is extreme. I've looked at models. I've looked at models,
Yeah.
and it is really hard to quantify. It's hard. It's really hard to do.
Which is why they created standardized tests.
Right. You know, we changed the schedules so that they weren't huge, you know, used to be 15, 18 steps, 32 tracks, and,
Mhm.
you know, we condensed everything down to make it a little more simplified. To know when somebody walks in, they walk in at this rate. You know, Noreen comes in with a bachelor's plus 4 years, here's your salary. You know, Nanwork walks in with an associate's and in 16 years, here's your salary.
Right.
You know, that doesn't happen at the town level. That doesn't happen necessarily at an SAU level. But there's no schedule to be made. We can at least show our schedule and say, here's where you fall, Noreen. Take it or leave it. You know, you're covered by the collective bargaining agreement.
Mhm.
And the union turns around and then every couple of years says, we want to make changes, we want to make.
We want to add
increases
steps
that.
to the schedule.
We want to add
wanna
steps, or we
add
want to
this.
add, you know, we want to add,
You
we
know,
want to widen the.
We've taken
the-
things
the
away over the
wage
years.
agreement.
You know, back in the past, and I think Nan and I have talked about this.
Mhm.
If you took a single person plan, you got your single person plan that you paid your 10% of,
Mhm.
and you got a percentage back of for not taking a family plan. Well, I'm a single person.
I should get the
Gone.
difference.
Gone. I fought this.
Yeah.
If you took a 2-person plan,
I agree.
so I have a family, and I decide we're only gonna take a 2-person plan. Get a 2-person plan, you pay your 10%, and then I get a percentage of the difference between a 2-person and a family plan. That was before me, and I fought like heck to get it out.
I don't agree with that
And,
at all.
and it's out. So now there is a buyout if you don't take our insurance at all.
Yeah, but the problem with the buyout is the stipends, you get 20% of the highest value. So as your insurance goes from, say 30,000, now we're at 35, you get 20% of that. 20%. So you
So we
keep
need to change that to a
increasing
number.
your stipend, exactly.
We need to change that
Get
to
rid
a
of
number, and I think that's a negotiable
Right.
point to say,
It's on my list.
here's a number, not a percentage.
Exactly.
Because if it goes out of control and it's $100,000 a year, you just got a $20,000 check.
Exactly.
Well, that's what
I-
I'm
right.
thinking, yeah.
I don't
That's-
disagree.
Hey Nan, why aren't you on his board?
Yeah, why aren't you on the school board?
Why aren't you on the
Conflict of interest,
Oh,
definitely. No, no.
Oh, you're knowledgeable.
I am knowledgeable, and that's why I can ask some of the questions. I
I
don't
see-
always have the
I see
same
a little
answers.
sweat over here, so you're doing.
No, you don't see sweaty. I know the questions that are coming. I'm prepared for
They're
them.
not new questions.
No,
That's-
they're not. That's
They're
my
new questions. They're the
frustration.
same questions that keep coming up.
They
and we
are.
keep trying to give
I
you the
know.
answer,
Yeah.
but the belief is not there.
It is not.
And
I just
I'm not
saw
sitting
that.
here lying to you, Dan.
And I just
Oh.
saw that.
You think
like-
that, but I'm not sitting here lying to
The
you.
union's gotta be
Okay.
challenged, because they're not interested in performance. They're interested in their own
Well,
agenda and they're taking care of it.
If you say union, yeah, maybe.
Maybe the
But if you
smaller
say
ones.
teachers,
No, nobody's
No,
talking
not
about
the
teachers.
teachers, the union.
No.
Right, but the
union's
the
made
local
up of
union
teachers.
is, there's no, they only have a UNICEF director.
Yeah,
So they don't have, they negotiate their own contract
Yeah.
locally.
because because when I'm working with the regular union people, they're fine, and then I have to deal with the big boys.
Right,
Let me
and,
tell you.
and that's the thing, it's, we negotiate with 3 to 4 of the local staff members, and they do bring in their UNICEF director from Concord.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm good.
I don't wanna
I know.
beat some of this
Because
to
a lot
death.
of it
Yeah.
needs to be said at your meetings, which
school
I'd be
board.
happy to do.
And
so.
we've said it,
Yeah.
you know, and that's the thing, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse down.
Well, I do too.
And if you don't trust me, say you don't trust me and tell me why, and I'll fix it. But that's what I keep hearing, Nan, is you don't trust me. If you don't trust me, just say it. Because that's what I'm feeling. Go ahead, you have every
You
right.
have every right.
Say it.
I do not trust you.
Good. Because the feeling is mutual.
There we go.
So,
I mean, that's what it is. You're always trying to catch us in something because you don't trust us.
Can we stay on
Yeah, I was
focus
gonna
here?
say.
We're
I think
diverging.
this is
Let's
a
not get
con-
personal here.
Right,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
We're done with this.
Yeah,
This
let's
is-
move
well,
on,
and
please.
it's
I
not,
agree.
I understand that Nan is not saying she doesn't trust
No.
Jim Curran. What
Yeah.
she's saying
No,
is
she is.
she doesn't stop for a second. What I hear and what I have felt in those conversations is that there isn't necessarily a huge amount of transparency that comes from the school board. I get the same thing from the select board as well. But working together and having conversations and continuing to discuss and continuing to give the facts goes toward that transparency, goes toward rebuilding that trust. And part of it is that we're just trying to figure out how to control costs, because this and not just the school board but the town, all of it, close to $12 million budget for a town of 3,000 people
Mm.
is insane in my head. So the question is, how can we get control of this? How can we achieve that budget moderation but also achieve results from the school? Because we've been throwing money, we the town, townspeople have been throwing, I don't want to say throwing money, that's a bad term, but we've been funding budgets, even if it's a default budget. We've been funding budgets, but I think a lot of people feel that there aren't a whole lot of results. There aren't a whole lot, it's not like we are experiencing a growth in student population, we're not experiencing a growth in scores, and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, there's no question the general public wants to see the
Results.
students' levels
It's
higher.
results driven.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
You know.
and the cost per student is going up because the enrollment is declining.
Yeah.
And the cost of living
And
in
there's a-
Mount Washington Valley is outrageous right now.
Oh, big
Mhm.
time.
And to be able to attract families in,
Mhm.
they just can't afford it. I mean, I'm looking at houses selling for $650,000 that 5-10 years ago
Or
sold for
$300,000.
$250,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
the
it's
median, the
not-
median home is 450, and if you look at where it was pre-COVID,
Mhm.
It's
When
not
there's under
lucrative for
three.
families to move into these towns
even
in
if
the
you
North
can, even
Country.
if you can find them.
To
Right.
Madison.
That's
And,
awesome.
and what impacts a lot of our younger families, Jim, is the rents are $1,800, $2,000.
And they can't
And there's nothing affordable in Madison, whether
So I
to
think that
purchase or rent.
those are subjects then too, to be
Mhm.
talking with the master
The
plan
master
committee.
plan, yeah.
And talking to them and making sure that we, as different committees and representatives from our different boards, and as townspeople, are talking to them, participating with them, giving our input to them, and trying to figure out how do we make Madison more attractive to individuals to come live here with younger children.
You need to find,
So that
you need to
We
tackle
don't
the-
have 88 students in a Madison Elementary
Mm-hmm.
School building that we're now,
They could house 240.
was
Oh, yeah.
built to house
Almost
almost
200.
300.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and I don't know that I ever necessarily want to see 300 kids in that school, but I think something more than that, something over 100.
Well,
150 to
until we
200.
get to the housing thing, it's just not gonna happen,
Well, it doesn't happen overnight, but it does
Well,
happen.
I've been working with a coalition for 15 years. The only two projects they got off were Chris Davies, who I introduced them to in Eddie Poliquin. But you take perfect example, Habitat Humanity, what a great organization. They go over there on Route 16, they got a 5-acre parcel. You should get 10 homes on that. Albany made them do 5.
Yeah.
Why?
The way their zoning is.
Yeah, but that's killing the idea of making things affordable.
Mhm.
Somewhere the towns and the states and the feds, they've got it figured out. And I've built a lot of affordable housing projects for NIFLA,
So,
and it's a huge challenge.
all right, let's
Well,
move
let's
on.
move on,
I think
So we are working, we are trying, and it may seem that we're not, but we have the same goal. I pay taxes in this town too,
Mhm.
and they've gone up exponentially
Mm-hmm.
since I've moved into town 20+ years ago.
Yeah.
But I still want to provide a quality education for the students as well.
Mhm.
And I think that's, for me, that's
Mhm.
that's where I don't want to say the rub is. I'm not convinced because I'm not seeing the results from, and maybe I'm not looking at the correct things, and maybe I need to be more fully I don't want to call it read in, but more fully in depth in the data stuff. But again, I go back to, we keep putting money into the budgets, but we're not necessarily seeing results. And I'm not sure I'm not sure what the metrics are for a quality education. We keep saying that, but I'm not 100% sure I understand what that looks like. And I think that's continued
The
conversation.
report card's something we're doing annually,
Yeah.
which it started last year, will start showing either a growth or a decline. It's gonna show us where our strengths and weaknesses are. You know, we have to continue to fight for the strengths, but we have to really push hard to bring those
Fix
weaknesses
those
up as well.
weaknesses. Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do. But it gets difficult.
All the while trying to hold budget lines.
Correct.
And I know that's difficult. It's not an easy task, but, and I believe that it causes some hard choices at times.
It does.
And this part of the conversation is one of the things, because one of the things that we wanted to talk about was 26, 27, well, it says 26, 27, but for you it's 27, 28. Budget objectives is, and we'll get to that a little bit later after Joe does his update, but how do we translate this conversation into budget objectives that achieve those things that we wanted to achieve, and working with you guys through the offset meetings that we've talked about, the in between the school board meetings, having budget committee meetings, and
So I believe October and November, we've added an extra meeting just specifically for budget purposes only.
and so it's in
And
between
it's
those.
with the budget committee, and it's getting us the information that you want to see to make your decisions. And I've asked this for years. Give us a goal. We'll work to that goal. But I'll step that up one and say, give us a goal for the elementary school. We're negotiating with the high school. That number's a ungivable. If you tell us we want you to come in at down 3%, I can probably do it at the elementary school. But if my high school goes up 10%, I've just lost. Now I got to take 15% out of my elementary school to make it happen. I mean, so that's where it gets hard. And that's where years ago I split them out and said, here's what our overall cost controls. You have your high school, middle school, special education, transportation, then your elementary school. And if you look at those, I think I had 7 or 10 years that I'd done out. The staff levels and the student levels kind of went in check with percentages. Staff was down 3.6%, students were down 5%, 3%. So it tracked year over year. And we really try to keep in check and do it. I mean, we try, but having a goal that represents this school, and I know we're responsible for negotiating a contract for high school and middle school, which we're doing, but I will tell you, it's going up. It's going up for the high school, middle school as well. Based on all projections that we can see right now, that number is going up. But we're still actively working. We were hoping to have something solidified by now, but it hasn't happened yet.
Do you have a projection for when it might be?
I do not. I honestly do not. My goal is for Sherry Stackpole and myself to be able to present something to the Madison board in non-public at our August meeting, and then hold a public forum sometime in August. If that doesn't happen by our August meeting, then it will be pushed out to September. But whatever it is, it's what we're budgeting for the next school year. So, and our goal is to put a presentation together and put it in front of the town and let the town tell us their thoughts.
Could I ask a question?
Sure can.
What level of impact do you have on the middle and the high school versus the elementary? Like you've got, let's say you're 100% very small, minuscule. So,
We write a check and we send the kids. I mean, we currently really have no say. We have so they have a SAU 913 joint board meeting quarterly, where they do presentations for us, where we can ask questions. We do not have somebody who sits on a curriculum committee. We do not have somebody we have one SAU 13 board member who sits on the budget committee, which I sat on years ago, and it was whatever. You know, they didn't care about your input
Very little,
from us
very little.
because it's taxation without representation.
That's what I was.
We have a signed
saying.
contract
Mhm.
that they will provide educational services for our students,
Mhm.
and we will pay the bill.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
it. So we have zero say.
At what point does that become untenable and we as a town, you as a school board seek alternative options?
I think they
Did
have.
thank you. I think what
I
I've said
think
is
they-
we are in negotiations right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I have no definitive because we are still actively in negotiations
Okay, good,
Yeah.
with more than one school district.
Right.
okay.
So we're not and the school districts that we're negotiating with all know that we're negotiating with more than one.
Right.
Mhm.
Because we're trying to find the best option, not just cost,
Academic and
Mhm.
cost.
Yes.
Yeah.
for the town.
Like a best
Value.
value.
Best value,
Yes,
That's value.
best overall educational value for our students.
Mhm.
which is what you want, that's the goal, yeah.
That's cool.
What's best
And,
for
and,
the
we,
kids.
and we may come in and say, this school is better, but it's gonna be $1,500 a student more. This school's worse, it's gonna be 1,500 student,
Yeah.
town, what do you wanna see?
I'd rather have the better school
Rather
personally.
have the value.
Yeah.
If you can
But
afford
If
it.
we can
But,
afford it.
right, and I just throw $1,500.
Yeah,
you know,
whatever, yeah.
But it is. It's a matter of seeing what works best. So that's where we have a say. The number of years under the contract, I don't think you'll see us sign a 20-year agreement.
Again.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that what it was, 20 years?
Yeah.
With-
Well, it was 20 because they were building the high school, so there were
Yeah.
bonds associated with
Yeah.
it that each town had a
You had to
bond
commit.
related to
We
it.
had to commit long term.
And
Yeah.
and we did. We paid our portion of those
Yeah.
buildings.
Sure.
Mhm.
And in between all that, they tried to go to a co-op.
And that failed.
Yeah. I mean,
The going to a co-op changes things. So the
it's a long
conversation.
process.
Well, not just a long process. If we went to a, let's call it a high school co-op, the high school building would be transferred to, call it Carroll County Co-op. Carroll County Regional High School or Conway Regional High School. That board that would make up each of the towns as part of the co-op would own that property. The town of Conway loses the ownership and complete control of that
Ain't
property.
happening.
So then they've said, well, let's make all towns in 9 and 13 a co-op. The town of Madison, the town of Freedom, the town of Tamworth, the town of Jackson, the town of Bar, they're not giving up their buildings to a co-op either.
Right.
Mhm.
So that's where it becomes, because once you go in, the co-op owns everything. The towns don't. So it no longer becomes the town emergency shelter
Right.
because it's owned by the co-op. And I
Unless
don't
you
know-
have an agreement
unless
with the
there's
co-op.
some type of an agreement with the co-op.
Right.
But then they could maybe Freedom doesn't want that to happen. Then it's a bigger collective that does it. So being able to have a lot more say in the middle and high school overall gets more difficult the more options you put on the table.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. Any last?
All right, thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
I
said it, I can say it.
You can say it, but nobody's gonna second it.
I got a cold.
I got $100 in my pocket.
No, I got a
Alright.
cold.
I do have one last question. Do you foresee anything in this coming budget cycle, either on the CIP or within the budget, that's besides the
Because
besides
besides
the
the
tuition
tuition.
agreements, outside of the tuition agreements that centers on that building, is there anything that's causing you concern, or the hairs on your back of your neck are going up, or that there's something that you think could end up?
What health insurance is going to look like, but
Right.
but I mean,
But everybody's in that boat.
honestly, I don't see any large undertaking
Okay.
that's about to happen. You know, can I see people putting another petition article out or asking for us to do a playground again? Maybe. But I think we've talked about, and the Buildings and Grounds Committee has talked about potentially removing the shed village up back and potentially going to a garage type system,
One
but
building.
probably a metal building that is easier for the town to plow straight in front and down the side. I don't foresee that as being a very, in the grand scheme of numbers, a large expense, but it could really help the aesthetics of and storage of what we
Mhm.
need. So that's the only thing I can potentially see. We did the wiring for the generator, so we didn't have to get a second generator.
Right.
So we pulled that already. That's already been done.
So it all runs off that big Kohler that's out there, the big diesel?
60-70% of the school runs off.
Okay.
So basically what we did is we pulled enough over to be able to run the communication systems.
Okay. No, because remember, we were looking at,
And
A
it wanted
grant
to
for
do
a
the
second-
garage and,
yeah,
yes,
a
no,
second generator.
so
we
not a
don't
second
need
one
that,
needed.
we don't need that
No,
grant
sir.
anymore? Okay.
No.
All right.
Okay. Anything else? No? All right. Moving on. Mr. Dame, talk to me. What's
Well,
going on?
let's start with the storm. Okay.
Tonight's?
Yeah, the one
yeah.
coming?
They're potentially, no, we're not joking, there's
No, I
severe
know.
thunderstorms
Actually,
tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
No,
been getting
I already
warnings.
spoke with the DPW, said, heads up, National Weather Service is forecasting potentially
Winds.
severe thunderstorms.
And
tonight.
potential tornado.
Yeah, that's what I mean, so, no, this is the June 10th, 11th weather event we had. As you know, that's been kind of our primary focus since June 11th. Fortunately, I gotta give Mike Brooks credit, he went out, FEMA showed up, the state emergency, Homeland Security Emergency Management guys showed up. They did the preliminary damage assessment, and we exceeded the $2.67 million threshold for our area. So, we do qualify for a disaster declaration.
That is not 2.6 million in Madison.
No,
That's
it was
the-
Albany,
the
Tamworth,
region.
Freedom.
Right. What was the
2.9.
damage to Madison?
2.9 million.
2.9 was in
Two-
the paper.
No, I have the numbers, I'm
That's
gonna
the
go over the
regional
numbers.
one. The
No,
damage.
Madison alone was 2.9.
Madison.
So we had to exceed a 2.6.
2.6.
That was the
But we
threshold
had-
for the governor
And
and,
Madison
declare it.
exceeded
there's a
2.6.
gentleman,
2.9.
Robert Buxton, he's the director of Homeland Security Emergency Management. So Senator Mark McConkey and Joe Kenny, Executive Council member Joe Kenny, really worked for Madison's best interests at the state level. They both spoke with the governor, and the declaration was issued on June 8th. Governor,
June 8th?
yeah, the
July.
governor requested a
July 8th?
July 8th.
I was gonna say, didn't the storm happen on June
June
11th?
June
June
10th,
10th,
Like,
11th.
wow, they got mind
You can
readers,
tell
right?
I've been working on this like crazy. The request that President Donald Trump issue a major disaster declaration, provide federal emergency assistance for the damage that occurred in New Hampshire because of severe weather on June 10th, 11th, 2026. So that went, that is there.
Were you able to get the bridge there by Cormax included?
No, that's future. Okay, so what we did, I've been working with our congressional delegation. And the day after that was sent to FEMA into Washington, I spoke with Savannah Rogers, who is Chris Pappas's legislative assistant. She works in the Cannon office building at Capitol Hill. And she says, I know Victoria and Joe had spoken the other day about the governor sending the disaster declaration to FEMA and having Pappas's office reach out to FEMA to make sure they were aware. This morning, FEMA confirmed to me that their receipt of the request for a major disaster declaration for the state as a result of severe storms and flooding, during the period of 10 to 11, June 10, 11, 2026. So FEMA confirmed that they did receive the request. FEMA shared that they will notify the delegation as soon as the determination is made. Again, that it's outside of our control. We've done everything. We had all the FEMA stuff, the state stuff down on time. Declaration, the governor signed it,
Great.
sent it to Washington. You know, it's up for, you know, consideration with, actually, President Trump is the sole approver of disaster declarations.
Wow.
So, the actual damage in Madison per the FEMA, assessment was $2.9 million. We actually think that's a FEMA, you know, they use base rates saying
Right.
you had so many, you know, miles of road or yards of asphalt and gravel. We think it's probably gonna be closer to about $3.5 million. Immediate expenses, these are the bills we received from Burke, Coleman, Nate Howard, I forget who else. There was half a dozen different trucking, excavation, repair companies. Is $338,157.37. That is just to get the roads passable. That does not include the permanent repairs, the culverts, you know, repaving and that type of thing.
And that's town roads only, not
Yes,
113?
this is 113 state roads. That's totally separate.
Yeah, so it's only town roads.
I mean, we had, as many of you know, severe damage. I mean, 40% of the roads were badly damaged, unpassable. So the bills are coming in. We had a Board of Selectmen meeting on the 7th of July, and we're going to have a public hearing, you know, to appropriate the $338,157.37. Lucia asked me to draft a letter to New Hampshire Department of Revenue Administration, to the commissioner there, requesting an emergency expenditure of the amount of $338,000 to address critical road repairs due to the torrential rainstorm and flooding that occurred on June 10th to 11th. So we'll have our meeting, public hearing on next Tuesday. And then we'll request, the plan is to use the unassigned reserve money right now.
How much is the unassigned reserve?
We have like $1.3 million, but
How do we know we have 1.3
we checked. I have some numbers here. But the DRA, Department of Revenue Administration, will only allow you to use cash on hand, not the projected end of year balance
Correct.
based on tax payments. We have a little over $400,000
in actual cash?
cash on hand to pay the $300.
School's giving you back 900.
I know,
But not technically.
not technically.
only on
right?
the books.
We can't use it for the roads, right?
No.
Yeah, yeah.
It's only,
Yeah.
it's paper
We could have
money.
encumbered it for the roads.
It's an,
There you go.
it's an accounting,
Could have.
Yeah. So,
accounting thing.
um,
So I know that this meeting's coming up on the 21st, and I've had serious concern about whether or not we have valid, verified financials, because we, the budget committee, haven't seen any
no, I agree.
since January.
Neither have I.
Well, no, and I get
Right.
it, and I understand that we haven't had them for specific reasons, but
And what are
How
the
do we-
specific reasons?
the
I
person
don't
who did all the financials quit.
Well,
So-
we had three people
Three
depart.
Who have the Board of
It's
Selectmen
the-
hired to replace
We
them?
have a
They-
new town administrator. We have a new
Treasurer.
treasurer. She's a
And a new
former
assistant.
CFO. She's really good.
And a new assistant.
And a
we-
new
A
assistant,
new
yeah.
assistant. We brought in a financial expert, QuickBooks expert, on a part-time basis. Just, you know, I think we're trying to have her on till the end of the year. She is going through line by line. We found a lot of errors. I mean, Sharon's aware of some of them. You know, we actually missed paying taxes to the IRS on the payroll. That was with the company we had
In April.
in April. So there's interest and penalties. I mean,
So that's
So-
when we were with the outsourced
we
company.
MRI.
yes.
So MRI should have a policy
I know
to
where,
cover that.
if you watch the Board of Selectmen, I
Mhm.
said we should not pay this bill
Yeah. Yeah.
because we didn't get the services that we had contracted for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're trying to
Not
get this
only
away.
should we not pay the bill, we should be having MRI
Pay any
the interest and
penalties.
penalties.
Yes, no, I agree.
Right.
So it's being worked, and I don't have a timeline when.
But I don't understand that.
Yeah,
I don't understand not having a timeline.
because we fix one thing, then we're finding more issues.
SOPs apparently are not
And you know
really
the
there.
deposits weren't getting put into QuickBooks and that type of thing.
Is that fixed? Are the
It
deposits
is,
all now in?
yes. I was doing deposits
Has
when
it
we
been
didn't have a treasurer.
reconciled starting in January?
Yes, it is. They're starting in January and they're
No,
reconciling.
not
the
starting.
books.
Has it been reconciled? Have the
She's still
reconciliations
working on
happened?
it. I'm not sure of the status.
So Joe, question for you.
Yeah.
Audit, when is our?
We
town
had our
audit?
audit.
In
and-
March.
And we did well. That was based on
That was
last year.
based on,
Last
so
year.
you're,
Previous
because it's your fiscal year, so it
Yes,
ends
yes,
December
that was
31.
Right.
end of December, yes.
So
But
is it-
audit
would
only
it-
doesn't, they're
but-
never gonna catch
But
any
would
of
it be
that.
prudent to have your auditor come in and do a mid-year audit to help?
That's why we brought in, well, we have the former CFO, Christine, she's outstanding. She's actually, the stipend treasurer, but she's in here almost every day, kind
Who's
of
that?
working, Christine.
Christine, she's the new treasurer,
Yeah,
the town treasurer.
she's highly experienced, really good. And, Abby's in, and they're both going through the books to try to get it to balance. Right now, in my opinion, we only have about a 60-70% confidence in kind of the books.
So
But
then
it's
how do
getting
we
better.
commit $338,000
money?
in unexpended fund balance if we think we have 400,000
Well,
in there, but
we-
we're only
we
60 to
we-
70%
we-
confident that number's
No,
correct?
no, my confidence level's on the budget drawdown when we see it. We know we have enough money in there, because I asked that question at the last Board of Selectmen meeting, I think you were there.
Mm-hmm.
I said, do we have money to pay for this?
But
And-
tax bills also just went out in June, correct?
Yeah, and we just got a large $2 million payment from one of the, when you pay into escrow,
Yep.
there's a consolidation company. So right now, this was as of July 7th, our general fund balance, this is what we have in Camden Bank, $3,108,782.93. The general fund money market was $599,991.66. The total was $3,708,774.59, less the payments we sent out last Board of Selectmen meeting. We spent in excess of $800,000 at the last meeting. That includes the $338K for the emergency funds. We had to pay for the new Mack truck chassis. Remember that contract?
Yeah.
The $350,000
Yeah.
truck. I think the payment was $290. I think we sent $300K to the school. A check for $300K to the school.
330, I think.
330K to
Yeah.
the school. Then we had the payroll and the regular bills. So after all the payments, our current balance is $2,907,861.29. That was as of July 7th, last week. And we do have over 400K and unassigned.
What is your weekly or monthly liability?
It varies.
So what if you just looked at payroll? And
We've been doing. I think
salary?
it's averaging about $200,000 per manifest.
So
Is that
every 2
bi-weekly?
weeks.
Yeah.
So I have serious concerns
No,
that there
I do too.
have
I
been.
second it.
no.
that there-
I think we all do.
Well, what is the most effective method for resolving this? Do you need help from
no, they're
additional people?
digging in, Lucia.
But digging
think if
in
you put-
isn't yielding anything.
I
It
think
is. It's
Part of the problem
improving.
is too many people were involved before. that
There were
Well,
5 or 7 different people putting
I
entries.
think there were
in
not
the
enough
manifest.
people, not enough
Yeah.
of the right people involved before.
But still, if you're taking people of the caliber you just said, they should be able to say, this is where I'm at. This is what I need to get to here.
Right.
Which I can't give you a deadline. I mean, I'm pushing hard, and
But they can.
the ladies are working every day at this. This is the top priority, and
But here's the old saying, and I hate to be hard, I can be working hard all day long and I
I
can
know.
be broke at the end of the day.
I'm not a QuickBooks guy, or I'm not a
Mm.
CFO, and
But the people that are doing it should have some idea where they are in the process
Mm-hmm.
and how much further to finish.
They should be able to tell you, I've reconciled all the way through April.
Yeah.
I've reconciled all the way through March. I've
It
reconciled
just seems
through
as
Then,
May.
we-
then the reality is, if they've got it through April, you can print an April report.
Correct,
And
and
you
we'll
can
at
say
least
the first
use
4
an April
months.
report
Yeah.
and give us at least what a quarterly report looked like, the first quarter looked like. To have no financial data come before this board
It's an accident,
Committee.
it's an accident waiting to
Committee.
happen.
Joe,
Thing.
are they documenting the procedure? I mean, are they documenting what should be going forward, and so that the next time we have a turnover like
Oh, yeah,
this?
that's a
And so I think
cross-trained,
that takes time too.
and that was an issue we
Yeah.
had, there wasn't a lot of
There wasn't.
documentation.
That's
or,
what I had
you know,
heard.
the process and that type of thing.
Yeah,
And it seems as we have the experts
No
going
SOPs.
through, we find for every problem that is corrected, they find two more.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Anytime you change, that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I
absolutely.
know.
I mean,
That's all
and
normal, but I
it was-
still don't believe they don't have a portion of this year's expenditures understood and can tell us.
I think expenditure should be pretty easy. Maybe your
Reconciled to
revenue,
banks.
right?
Reconcile.
But that's
bank
the issue
statements.
is reconciling
Added to bank
the
statements.
statements. Yeah.
So, and I guess, I don't understand that.
Neither do I.
I don't understand how that doesn't happen. I don't understand how that
You should
is
be reconciling by
every month, every
That's
single
right.
month.
I have a question about tax revenue. How much property in town do we have that is tax delinquent? How far do we let them
Like
go?
percentage or?
Yeah, and how far do we let
percentage?
them go before the town auctions off the properties as the tax?
I'm
Well,
not
there's
sure.
a process. There's
There
a
is a
step
I know.
process.
I'm just,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to figure out how with taxes going up, people are getting more stressed, and some people aren't able to pay that bill. And how far behind are they getting? And how much of that are the rest of us picking up for?
I think we would need to have Mike Brooks come.
Yeah, I
address
haven't
that.
seen those numbers, Jim.
But I,
But I think in the past, he's pretty much expressed that the town is really pretty good
yeah,
as far as
It's
payment
fairly
is
low.
concerned.
Right.
Okay.
And we just ended the date that the
Right.
tax, the
It
was-
first
it was
half.
due
of
July
last
8th.
Friday.
It was due
Right.
July
We
8th.
just ended
But I
that,
think
yeah.
tonight we're beating a horse here.
Mhm.
You should be able to go back to who's ever in charge of this process and say the budget committee wants some kind of, whether it's
Wants-
January or February or
report.
quarter year,
Yeah.
wants something.
Give us, yeah. No, I
Yeah.
understand.
We're
Ask
speaking
that
to-
question and then tell us.
I wish I had it.
Well,
Um,
I would just,
Well,
I would also like answers when I send emails. I understand that they're busy. I don't send a lot of
Who
emails
do you
to the
address
town,
the emails to?
to the town administrator.
Yeah,
No,
But
I
shouldn't
try
you
to
be
be
addressing
yeah, you know,
the board?
I don't work
Of
for the
select-
board.
Yeah.
I don't work for the board of selectmen. The advisory budget committee is a separate
Independent.
committee.
It's
It doesn't
elected-
work for the
it's elected.
selectmen.
but I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so I didn't
Yeah.
know.
But I'm
Yep.
sorry. I've never ran my business or worked for someone that I can use the word I'm too busy to give you what you want.
Well,
We're all busy. We're
absolutely,
doing our job.
I think it's
absolutely.
problems.
And I know what they're doing is thankless.
Well, and I also know it's not easy. It's
No.
hard right now.
No.
It's hard because there were so many complications.
Well, then the
With-
storm, man,
The
just
storm.
killed
Going
us.
back-
Yeah.
doing-
Well, it killed your cash too, because
Oh, yeah.
you're,
Right.
Well,
You have to get things fixed.
338K worth of emergency
Right.
repairs.
and if you
Which
don't pay your
actually-
contractors,
In
Then they're
my
not coming back.
estimation, that's a I don't want to say, that's a really good price for all the damage that had to be
Yeah.
fixed.
They, the vendors, they gave us big discounts.
That
And
was-
they
that-
responded that day. They pulled crews off of
and they
other
were
jobs.
there like 24 hours.
My God, and they were working till 10:30, 11 o'clock at
Oh, yeah,
night
no, it's a
to
whole-
restore
it's a good
driveways, to
group.
get people back,
It's a
you
good
know,
group.
out of their homes.
And at some point,
Yeah.
it's not a subject for this particular
Yeah.
committee. It is a subject when I come to a select board meeting. Is when do we think we will get past the emergency repairs and get to the like reconstituting things the way they're supposed to be.
They've done most of the, I've driven all over town. I
The
mean,
gravel
because-
roads are in good shape.
Yeah, well, the whole point is FEMA made it perfectly thing. You can bring it back to where it was,
So
but you
from
can't do anything more.
no, I know.
So
but-
if you look the
well,
downside
you're
of
not going
Pound
to get
Road,
reimbursed for anything
Yeah.
more. You can do whatever you want. You're just
Right,
not going to get
But
reimbursed.
They
for
pay you
anything
that
just-
flat rate
Correct.
based on their
Correct.
damage
because the
estimate.
downside of
Yeah.
Pound Road is still a mess.
Oh God, yeah. And Bickford Road is still.
Oh, some of those roads
Mess,
are
and
gone.
Pines Hill
Up
is
off
still-
of Pound Road.
Pines Hill isn't
Maple
bad. I've driven
Grove.
down, I drive by that all the
Pines Hill
time.
is a mess.
Oh, come on. It's got a few ruts on the side.
Friday,
Not a
I had a flat tire
It's like,
on my bike. and it
Well,
was
no,
horrible
the
because
washboards,
it's
yeah, the
so
washboards.
coarse.
Yeah, well, it needs to be
It's
regraded.
such
So
a
anyway,
coarse
aside,
stones.
um,
Points.
at some point, at least they should be able to tell the select board every 2 weeks the percentage of
I think
roads
it's two
Yeah.
types.
and the percentage of work completion on where we stand. There should be, every 2 weeks, you guys should, and along with that, sort of a cost as to what that has
But
been.
right
Yeah,
now,
we-
none of those subs are working on any of the roads. So
No,
we're
no,
not-
I
this
didn't
was,
ask
this
for
was the
the
final, yeah.
Yeah.
The subs are complete.
Yeah.
They were DPW is still out every day, you know,
I'm sure.
filling grade and load.
Yeah, and I recognize they don't
Yeah.
have a ton of people either, you know, you're
No,
looking
there's
at.
5.
Five.
Yeah.
five.
Yeah. And I get that.
But back to Jim's thing, we sent out about $5.5 million in tax bills. And
I'm sorry, how much?
5.5 million,
Okay.
right? Because it's about 11 million, you know, the first half. I'm trying to remember the exact number. Mike spoke at the Board of Selectmen meeting. I think we had received 86%.
Yeah, it's usually
It
pretty.
was pretty high,
Yeah.
and he expected to be over 90%.
And that
by
was
the-
before the July 8th deadline.
before the people wait to the last day or two,
I
right?
do.
Yeah, no, me too. I paid mine.
I'm not paying the
But
government
no, but
before I have.
Mike thought we were in good shape because I think he projected we'd have 90 plus.
Mhm.
So there is money in the bank. The numbers I gave you earlier, that was prior to the
End
the
of the
deadline for the
Yeah.
payments for the taxes.
The
But
time.
we're gonna have to really closely monitor.
Mhm.
I would expect that on July 21st, when you have the public meeting, somebody, if it's not me, somebody else is going to ask, how do you know?
How much money do you have?
Correct.
Yes,
How much
yes.
money do we have? How much of it is going to get used on this, and how much will we have left in the account? And what's your confidence level, your confidence probability of that number? If we're 60% confident in this number, we're 80%, we're 100% confident. There needs to be that explanation to the town people. You can't just ask them to spend the money and not give them.
Cause
Accurate
Yeah.
because the
numbers.
300,000 is peanuts, because don't we have to do the repairs and then get reimbursed?
Yes.
Correct.
And
So
That's,
if it's 3.6, it's 3.3 to finish.
And are we not just receiving money from the storms back?
We just
Years
finished
ago.
the last
we got
payment
the
a couple months ago.
$33,000
Like January,
check.
yeah. It
But
wasn't much.
it was denied, and we had to file appeals, and
Oh.
Senator Hassan's office got involved. And
Yeah.
we finally got.
But that's what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
Right.
they,
Oh, they take that.
you fork it out, they don't pay it right out.
No, this
No.
is, and it's reimbursement
Yeah.
is 75%.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're going to go, okay, you
25%.
spent the 338,000 up front, we reimburse 75% of that. But we're a lot further ahead. A lot of lessons were learned in 2023. One, we engaged the state and
Immediately.
federal, representatives, both, state senators and executive council members and our New Hampshire federal delegation. So, and Savannah's calling, they're going, did you get their FEMA request? And they verify, making sure the stuff is there. It's not thrown on, the bottom of somebody's inbox, right? So hopefully that they can push it along. But again, it's going to take a while to get this money. And on a related matter, we did get that $200,000 clean diesel grant. Remember, for the
Right.
new Mack truck. Michael is submitting we had the dealer's delivering it, right? We had to pay for it. It's I think it arrived last week, or it went to the upfitter
It went to
last
the
week
upfit.
to get the bed and the plows and
Plows,
everything
right.
put on. But we had to pay the dealer, right?
Correct,
Because he
for the
delivered
truck.
it.
Yeah.
For the chassis that went to the upfitter. But Michael is going to file, right away, and the state is pretty quick on turning that around. So hopefully we'll get that $200K, sooner rather than later. But this storm is going to be tough, and again, for long-term road repairs, we're going to file again like we did for the dam and the salt shed. We're going to ask for the rural development grants, but you're talking 2028, right? Because the federal
Right.
27 budget's already being
Well,
for-
we've also got 2 elections before you'll see any of the money.
yeah. So that's one thing we haven't given a lot of thought and discussion to is what are we going to do for the the $3 million to do the final repairs.
0.25 just times the 2.9 is 725,000.
That's what I mean,
That is
yeah.
a big,
That's a lot of
That's a
out
lot
of
of
pocket. Talk
dollars.
about
That's a lot
insurance
of
out of
dollars.
pocket. You know,
Yeah.
you know, copays. Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's 75% though. But you got to remember the 2023 storm. We got almost $400,000 in FEMA money. You know, again, you know, it is what it is. But 75% is better than zero.
Right,
Oh,
it's true.
absolutely.
Figure out
Right.
what it is and just be tough in your negotiations with the subs that are gonna do it.
You know, and
Because if you can buy it
Again.
out better than what you've estimated, then that's something.
what if, you know, what for some reason that, you know, FEMA denies because, you know, denies the disaster declaration. You know, President Trump doesn't sign off on it.
Oh,
Well, he's been pretty good on signing off on
Yo,
this.
I know, but I'm just, but what, you know, being me, what's your plan B?
yeah.
What are-
Exactly.
Where are we gonna come up with,
What's the alternative?
How are we gonna-
If this doesn't happen.
if we don't get
where-
that
how do we-
75% reimbursement, what are we
It's
gonna
got a
So-
program
It's
at the
gotta be a
school,
bond.
Yeah.
teach kids how to build roads,
do? There you go.
slave labor.
Talk to Mike Rowe. If we-
Oh, I know.
Mike's a good guy.
You know, this hasn't been a good year to be a new selectman. I'll tell you that.
No. So talking about, you know, budgets and that kind of stuff, what, since you literally have only a 50% idea or thereabouts
That's
of
me, that's
what
my personal
right, of what
opinion, yeah.
we have expended, what precautions are the selectmen suggesting from a spend standpoint with regard to budgets to make sure that things aren't overspent?
Well, we're not gonna fill several positions right now. I recommended we don't.
Which several positions?
DPW.
Oh, wow.
And there's a part-time and a full-time. I recommended that we
Oh,
hold
that
off on that.
part-time and full-time position is based on what organization chart?
Because Dylan was promoted. We need another CDL driver by November.
Yeah, but can't you take one of the people you have and get them?
Yeah, but we're
No,
understaffed.
it's a whole different
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, whole
not
different
for the budget.
conversation.
That's not a
It's
budget
not a
committee.
Not a
budget.
budget.
I
Well,
know.
it is because it
Well,
means additional
yeah.
people on the payroll.
But
and
they're already
or-
budgeted for it.
I'm
saying
not
they're already
100%
Because we're
sure.
down one CDL right now, and one of the part-timers moved to Florida or something, so we had those two open positions. But that was my question is,
Especially with how much.
Can we pay for that now?
Do you have an estimate for the overtime that was?
No,
spend-
that's it, that's in, I believe, Michael has done an amazing job on the spreadsheet. He's tracking materials, fuel, vehicles, overtime. And I believe the 338 includes, you know, labor and that type of thing.
Wow.
So townspeople labor.
Yeah. And
So
the contractor
meaning,
costs.
right, contractor costs plus the town crews.
Because I asked Michael at the last Board of Selectmen meeting for the FEMA, because they'll reimburse, you know, for the
Yeah.
labor and everything, right? Everything, materials, fuel, use of the equipment, anything we had to rent, you know. And I said, are you tracking all this? He goes, yeah, what do you have, 14 tabs or something on his spreadsheet?
Oh, I remember him saying.
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
One of the
so-
14 tabs. On
One of the 14 tabs, no, Michael is very
He's on it.
thorough and he's doing a good job on it.
Good.
So, again, you know, I think the second time around here, you know, and, you know, we had the 100-year storm in 2023, and this was a 500-year storm in 2026. So we've had, in 3 years, we've had 600 years worth of torrential, catastrophic storms.
Deluge.
And potentially, tonight,
Another
no,
one.
every time I see the weather now, I'm like, oh my God, what are we gonna do?
But that doesn't answer the question
Yeah.
about the rest of the budget.
Yeah.
Where does the rest of the budget stand?
The numbers
What-
I saw, Lucia and I, we've been sitting down, we met last Monday, and we're looking at all of the town contracts for phones, IT service, security systems, Eversource, and all that. What's necessary? Is this obsolete? Can we put this out to bid? Can we do something better? You know, one of the things we were looking at, we're spending a fortune on with Consolidated for old copper phone lines. You know, thousands of dollars. That's like, can we get VoIP? You know, for $200 a month, you know, for business lines or something. You know what I mean? So we're really,
I hate
I know, but it's the
If
cost.
everybody's got it.
Plus Consolidated,
Voice
you know,
over.
in 2 years, copper wire goes
New
away.
Hampshire
Right.
co-ops
Yeah.
broadband is
So-
good.
again, I go back to where is there any discretionary spending, so to speak, in people's budgets that can be curtailed until we get a
Cash.
much better handle.
Oh, I
We get to
agree.
the 85 to 90% fidelity on where we stand with regard to our
But
financials.
we as a budget committee don't know that they're not already doing that. I mean, we've,
Well, that's
we
my
voted the
point.
selectmen in
Yeah,
to
do the
do
job.
To
that.
manage the resources.
So,
But we are supposed to get reports on that, and we're not
We're
getting
not-
reports,
that.
but we don't need to, but we need to not micromanage them.
I
We need
can't
to
micromanage anything I don't have.
understand, but I just
I'm
wanna make
asking
sure
for the
that,
information.
I'm sorry, I've been bad on a cold, I gotta get.
Okay. Okay.
You all right, Charles?
No, I just started getting a cold early in the day, and I didn't wanna miss
Oh,
the
okay.
meeting because I wasn't here last time, so.
All right.
Now I'm getting weary,
Yeah.
so.
All right. We'll see.
are you okay
You
to
okay?
drive?
You
Of
okay?
course. Yeah.
Are you okay for Thursday? I guess
Yeah.
I'll see you then. All right. Thank you, Charles.
Take it easy.
All right. I know. I lose sleep over this, Sharon, as you know.
All right. Well, to a certain extent, I feel like we're not beating a dead horse, but I need town hall to understand that they can't just not give us numbers.
My concern
They can't
is,
they can't not give us financials.
I just think they don't have.
We
I-
don't
I
have
think
They
them.
have
we
them.
don't have
They're
them.
not necessarily correct.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And then maybe they're
Do
trying
you
not
have
to
any
provide you
confidence?
incorrect numbers.
But there has to be things that are correct. ETF balances, revenues, those kinds of
Well,
things.
we know what the bank accounts are. We know, yeah.
So
Those don't change. And one of the things I recommended with Lucia in the last meeting was, remember the warrant articles for all the charities? And there was like
Yeah.
$36,000 or something. We haven't paid those yet. You know, and those were approved in March, and we're midway through July. I said, let's only pay 50% now. We'll pay 50% in December, right? Again, it's $18,000, but still.
Still.
You know what
It all
to
adds
keep
up.
that cash in our account, you
It
know,
all
just,
adds up.
you know, I'm looking for margins like
Right.
that. You know, and I don't think the charities will complain that, well, they said $2,000 and we got $1,000 check. You know, hey, look, you know, December, you know, towards the end of the year, we'll
Make it-
send you the
it'll make
balance.
good.
But I mean, we're trying to be creative like that until we can get the real numbers. I just don't wanna come October and be like, oh my God,
well,
yeah.
at the
yeah.
rate we're going, that's what it'll be.
I know.
And I'm disturbed by that.
Oh, me too, believe me.
But we keep having this conversation, and yet there's no conversation around progress.
No, I agree. That's why I fully concur for next Tuesday's meeting when we're talking about, you know, the 338K. We need some real numbers to show that we can, the check's
That
not
you
gonna
can do
bounce.
Right.
Right,
Right.
yeah. That's why I asked, do we have money to pay for this?
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
No, is
Quite enough.
is that
That's
enough doom and gloom for one day, or
Yeah.
trying to keep it real?
Okay, moving on then. 26, well, it says 26, 27 budget objectives. One of the things that we need to start doing is developing the guidance that we need to provide to the school board and to the select board with regard to the development of their budgets. Yours is 27, 28, and the town is 26, 27. And I
No, this is 27.
what?
This would just be 27.
They're 27.
Right, not 27.
Ours is
Yours is a full calendar year.
Ours is FY 27,
Yeah,
or
27.
calendar
Yeah.
year, CY 27.
Except that we work on it in 26, that's why it was
Yeah.
26, 27. It's hard with the town because we don't have numbers. So until we have numbers and can see where things are, we can't necessarily,
No,
we can make overarching objectives and say, cut the budget by 3%, but I always felt like that's just sort of, it's not helpful necessarily.
No, it is, I mean, you and I have worked these issues the last few years. You know, we really need, as we start to see what the health insurance costs are gonna be for next year, you know, what kind of increases are we looking, you know what I mean?
Right.
Well, but that's where,
Well, and
you
I
know,
guess my question
we start tracking that stuff.
too would be,
Yeah.
where did the selectmen stand on things that we had already discussed previously that I believed were going to be undertaken, such as wage scales, you know, for
That's in the
different
works.
positions. And,
I've seen work on that.
Okay.
Lucia and Madison are both doing the wage scales.
and those are based on,
New Hampshire Municipal Association data, local town data, you know, real, what the wages are for same position, same responsibilities.
same responsibility.
Yes. So they're putting that together now.
And are they basing that? This goes back to a whole conversation about starting with an org chart, so that once you have an org chart, you know the number of positions that the town has validated should be employed by the town. You can then base your budget off of those positions with
I think,
the
yeah,
wage
they're
charts.
matching it to the job descriptions, the responsibilities listed in, and I know the goal is, you know, we're just not gonna give an automatic pay raise every year, right? You're gonna have a band of wages for, you know, a CDL truck driver. Here's the rates, you know, so you stay within that band, almost like, I think like you guys do at the school, right, with kind of the
They have
steps.
steps in
And based on experience and qualifications and all that.
Yeah.
So I know Lucia's putting that together now.
Will the budget committee have a chance to look at
I
that?
hope so, yeah. I know they're drafting it up.
Is there an estimated time for that to be?
Not that, there probably is, I just don't know.
Okay.
I'm there every day. I can't keep.
I know, I
know.
understand, I understand. All right,
Full-time
so number 8 is,
Well, I'm the writer. I'm the grant writer and
Right.
the FEMA
Yeah.
writer and
yeah. As far as the school is concerned, though, we need to be able to start talking. No, we need to be talking tonight with regard to at least preliminary discussions of the areas and the conversations that we want to be having with them with regard to the budget that they're going to be doing. Obviously, there's only so much control that can happen. One of the things that I would like to see happen is a validation of the number of positions that are needed. With the school going to only 88, say 90, let's even it out at 90 students, what staffing requirements does that mean? Mapping that against validated needs, you know, like we need a math teacher, we need a science teacher, we need a principal, we need a school administrator, school receptionist kind of thing. Those are standard positions within the school that, and based on this student population, here's what we need. And then using that to develop a staffing plan, and using that to develop then budgetary requirements.
policies that relate to class size policies.
Right,
For-
well, and I think you already have class size
We do.
policies,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what I
so-
said, we have
Yeah.
policies
Yeah.
related to a lot of those things. We have state standards that require us to have certain things,
Right,
not necessarily certain amounts of things, but
Right.
certain things in place.
certain services, certain
Yep.
programs, certain
Yep.
resources kind of thing.
Because when you talk numbers, if you take this year's numbers and forward them to next year, all your class sizes are from 13 to 15.
Correct.
And that's,
That's within the
well
the band.
within.
They're all well-
well
they're-
within.
yeah.
Yeah, because
You
I
know.
think the top number now,
It's
and I have
15.
18 possibly in the upper grades. At one point, it was up to in the
I
20s.
only
And
looking
that
at
was-
enrollment from,
Right, I'm
End
talking
of the
policy,
year.
not.
oh, yeah.
I'm talking policy,
Policy 15 to 18,
I think
right?
18
For
is
K
the-
through 3,
and then
18 to,
24. No more than 24
right.
or
So
25.
there,
We're
hugely.
well within it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
So-
Jim, not to, I mean, staffing, and I get there are a lot of, and maybe a strategic plan, I think that was said at the school board meeting, that might help. You know, the strategic plan, and hopefully that will be done in November,
No.
is what you're thinking?
No.
At least a draft.
No. So it's a 12-week process. It's a 12-week process once it starts.
Okay,
And it will not start until at least, I believe, the end of September. So it will be in play by, hopefully by town meeting or deliberative session. Hopefully it will be
Alright.
done by then, and we'll have had a public hearing at least on it
all right.
by then. But it's a 12-week, but it's not 12, it's a 12-meeting process.
Okay, all right, so we might not be able to use that. So what I'm suggesting is that you look, as Sharon said, we've had this conversation before about the full-time employees versus can we reduce any, can we share resources with a Freedom or a Tamworth? You know, when you've got under 100 kids and it's going down, so 30 students went out, maybe 10 are coming in, so whatever that, right.
Yeah, we had
No,
we had a big class meeting
Correct.
this year.
So,
Oh, this is.
again, you're dropping by 20 students, more or less. Your staffing should reflect that, okay, going forward, because I don't see us increasing enrollment anytime soon, so,
Not significantly.
no. So I think you need to
It was no
look at
baby boom I
all
was aware of.
all
No.
positions, you know, and again, I'm gonna use the media, because last year, a lot of discussion surrounding the full-time position. It was reduced to 4 days, or 0.8, based on need, and then some, in my opinion. But if you bring it in line with all the other IAs in the integrated arts, they're all 0.3
Right.
and below.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, and you know, we've got less students. You need to look at you have a lot of full-time positions. You have 6 classroom teachers. You have 6 paraprofessionals. You have reading. You have RTI. You have a full-time speech. 2 case managers for special ed. I mean, the whole thing needs to be looked at. Okay, that was probably first on my list was health insurance.
And I think
That's
it's
on
the first on all of
everybody's
ours.
list.
I mean,
Right.
I really do.
I think it's a given
Right.
that
It
they're gonna
sounds
look
like I'm giving lip service on it,
Yeah, I know.
but for years I've said, I've fought for more share.
Right.
And-
Well, I think that's going to have to be a given, because when you're doing your CBA, you're going to, it's at 12 now. You're going to have to.
Right.
Employee
State average is what,
contribution.
14?
State
Correct.
average is 14.
You know,
Conway's 20%.
Conway's
So I'm
20.
just, not to
Most
compare,
organizations, a lot of companies are at 20%.
Mm-hmm.
But, so health insurance, you have to really look at your personnel, I think, and based on the declining enrollment. And the other things, your non-CBAs are annually, correct? And I think when you're negotiating your
Non-CBAs,
contracts,
yeah.
non-CBAs,
Non-CBAs.
non-contracted,
Our annual contract.
annual contracts.
everyone is an annual contract.
Okay,
Every staff member is an annual
okay, so
contract.
let's just say the principal's
Yes,
contract.
but
Yeah.
they don't have a negotiated agreement that's good for 3
The
years.
non-collectively bargained for employees.
Our annual renewal.
The principal was on a multi-year contract, which was negotiated.
All right, when does that run out?
I believe
Is this the last year of it?
this current coming year is the last year of that.
All right,
And then the other non-CBA staff is based on policy.
all right. So what I'm just suggesting, all non-CBA, whether,
Yep.
it's a 3-year negotiated contract, or you said annual, and I was a little surprised at the meeting, because
When did I say annual?
at the school board meeting, You said all, it's in the minutes.
Okay,
Ye-
no, explain to me, because I want to make sure.
Check the minutes, it says that Nan Bartlett confirmed that all non-CBAs are renewed annually.
They are.
They are renewed.
They are. Everybody is renewed annually.
Yeah.
Everybody gets
But
a.
she has, the
The
principal has a
building
3-year.
principal has a multi-year contract, so
That gets renewed
it would,
annually.
but it
Okay.
gets renewed
All right,
annually. So
so
it's
it
not.
seems to
You know,
matter.
we don't
Yeah,
sign
it
and say
is-
we own you for
yeah.
3 years.
Okay,
We renew the contract annually. So every
Okay.
year a new contract is issued,
okay,
whether you're a collectively bargained for employee
all right.
or a
Or not.
non-collectively bargained. So that statement is correct. They can be under a multi-year contract.
Okay, so
But
what
if the-
I'm,
But if the performance wasn't there, you have some,
There is an out.
there is
yes.
an out.
That is
Okay.
correct.
Okay, good.
so my suggestion is that employee contributions toward the health insurance be all the same for all non-CBA as well as the CBA. In other words, it
So,
should-
like,
I,
right now the CBAs are 12%.
and
12% across the board, even for non-CBAs, so that there's an equitable
right.
distribution, if you will, of the resources.
there were differences that were made.
Yeah.
To exclusively the principal at one point, which was no raises. We did not give raises for many years. There were many years that the salary increase was 0.
And I would I
To-
get that
and-
because the healthcare increase was 10 to 15%.
Well, that's not when it was 10 and 15%.
Well, even
not-
I don't think we've had
Yeah.
years where it's been anything less than 7 or so.
Right.
Yeah.
But there
Just this
is
last contract, this last 3 years,
this
there's been no raises.
they were before that as well. So it's not just this last 3, but I do.
Regardless, going
But what I'm
forward.
saying is that by not doing the raises at, call it 3%, call it 4%, I don't care what it is, it's actually a savings. It was a savings to the town and the school district by doing that, because it's not just the salary that goes up. It's the salary related benefits that
everything, right.
also go up as well. So there was a savings to that. But I've heard you. I heard the town in the last cycle saying, bring them back in line. So I think now what we need to do is look and see how we can bring both pieces back to
Right.
an alignment.
And if for
Salary
some reason,
and
Right.
So do
Total
we-
compensation.
total
package.
compensation package to go up. And I can show you over the years where, and I'll bring it next time. Just remind me to bring a breakdown of salary schedules, because I don't remember the minute I walk out the door, honestly.
right?
But to show you what daily rates look like for staff members, broken across. What our cost per day or cost per week for a staff member is, because when you also look at some of that stuff, you say this one's way overpaid. Well, it's 260 days versus 180 days. It's this versus that. It's I can break down to 10 years ago, and so I have a lot of those numbers that I keep with me, and can share those with you so that you can see what daily rates look like for collectively bargained for and non-collectively bargained for employees as well. So I'm happy to share that information, but I just want to make sure that and be able to show you that not just by an employee, but by an employee's position and or
Situation.
not just their educational levels. So I can show you what somebody with an associate's degree and 15 years looks like on a daily rate versus someone with a master's degree and 15 years. In two different roles, and 180 versus 260, how they're almost pretty close sometimes because of a collectively bargained for versus not. So I will bring that to you so you can see what the total overall, and that includes total compensation. And I will bring that and share that.
Yeah, and so I am happy to hear that you'll take a look at all of those with regard to the equitability that health share cost. But if it still makes sense from a total compensation percentage with regard to, I'm not necessarily advocating that we do away with everything the way we're doing it. I want to see that it makes fiscal sense to do it the way we're doing it. And so if there's data that shows that no, what we're doing by not giving pay raises and just taking on the full burden of the healthcare
Makes
portion
sense.
makes fiscal sense and saves the town money. You just need to show me how much is it saving? What does that look like? How much is it saving? And oh, by the way, maybe we should be doing that for all the employees, right?
I don't disagree, but I think
Good luck.
But I think the hardest part with that is the instability of the
Workforce
of
Yeah,
the
number
health
one.
insurance. So
and health insurance.
so let me just throw I'll throw the $100,000 employee out there. $100,000. If health insurance for a family plan is $47,000 and goes up 10%, it's $4,700. If I give that person a 3.5% raise, that's $3,500. That then accumulates over the years as well. But then what are my salary related benefits? What is the 14 or 18% to the New Hampshire retirement system of that 35? So I will break those down for you so that we can show you whatever.
And what those numbers say.
What
and I
they
think
look
that
like.
we should do that during a budget meeting.
Absolutely.
Not
Yeah.
during a school board meeting or during one of these
Yeah.
meetings. I think that's
That's
the real work
But
that we
we
want to
need,
get to.
but we need to present it at a school board meeting. That's
Oh,
what I'm
absolutely,
saying is, we're going to present it at a school board meeting, not just for the budget committee.
No, right, no.
And
no,
that's why we're having these other two meetings so that the budget committee can have a back and forth conversation with the board, and it's not just a board meeting in public.
Right.
It's a board
It's
/
work-
budget committee work
working
session
meeting. Yeah.
in public.
Yes.
Great.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
My head hurts at this
I
point.
know, I'm tired.
I
I'm
know.
tired.
Everybody is.
Moving on to CIP update. There were supposed to be a CIP meeting last night, but unfortunately, some illness took hold and we had to cancel the meeting. So I do not have an update on the CIP. I can share with the budget committee some of the information that the working papers. There were some documents from the strategic planning or the master planning session, those kinds of things that I'm happy to share if anyone is interested. The meeting is tentatively rescheduled for next week, but I will probably not be around. Grandchild number 2 is due
Oh,
Wednesday,
that's right.
next Wednesday, so we will probably be in New York at some point, unless she goes way overdue, which I don't think she's going to. But so, but Noreen is also on that committee, and so she can always help with telling us what happened and give us a brief. Yeah. So there you have it. I do know that we were looking to there were a couple of areas that were of interest. One is that Joe presented at the last select board meeting that the Historical Society needs a new alarm system. I don't think it even warrants the level of because it was $3,500.
Which, yeah, you were at the meeting, which
Yeah.
I considered, I recommended we don't spend that because the labor rate was $150 an hour. It
Maybe
was
to go back
27.
and find some other.
I asked,
Bids.
But
I'm looking for another bid. I asked the company for the price to install wireless systems,
Yeah.
instead. So again, 3,600 was too much, but I think
For a
it's
small building.
for a
It's
small
not that
building.
big a building. It's
but
not like you're
I'm
putting it
just
in a
thinking,
school.
this is the Historical Society. Shouldn't they just get goats?
Shouldn't
Wouldn't
they
that
just
be
get
the
what?
proper security system for historic?
No, we have burglary.
Security.
No, it's the fire.
There's
system.
no smoke fire
There's
detector.
no smoke,
Okay.
no fire alarms.
Back in the day, the kids stood out there and they yelled. So we got to get a few kids out there to yell.
Well, that's what the current system is.
Historical alarm system.
That's right. It's exactly what it is right now. So.
We have kind of an on-call as you drive by. If you see smoke coming
Smoke.
out of the building, you call the fire department.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, it's in my opinion, it's an irreplaceable building
It
and
is.
an irreplaceable collection.
Collection.
Correct.
And
And if it
Again-
goes up, there's no saving.
There's no.
no, but
no.
we can
It's
at
like
least
this
put some
building.
smoke and fire detectors in there, but not at $3,600. I think we can do better than that, and that's what we're looking at.
And I do know that they had been looking to see if that would tie into the fire department, which I heard the fire chief explain that system needs to be upgraded because it's
That's-
old. But it's not on the CIP. It has
No.
never been, he has
Never brought it.
never
No.
brought it before the CIP committee, and in his input for the fire department, it's nowhere on
Yeah, I
there,
haven't
so
heard about that.
we need to,
We have one contract with Lakeside Security.
Mm.
The town hall, the police has an alarm here. The Historical Society and the fire department, they're standalone systems, right? It's the Historical Society building's hardwired to the, monitoring center. Lakeside has a center, like ADT or any of the
Yeah.
companies. And the call goes into them and then they call, the fire police, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the alarm is. So we have 3 separate alarm systems under one contract. And that's one of the contracts we're thinking maybe we need to, rebid.
take a look at
Especially,
it, at least analyze it.
And,
Yeah.
and we're going through the contracts, going, could we look at this, or why are we spending money on this? Again, like we mentioned, the phone system, that's going away, we're gonna have to do something, within 2 years, right?
And
Consolidated's doing away with hardwire.
So going back to the CIP,
Yeah.
I do know one of the other items that came up was the 2019 Dodge Charger.
Oh, yeah,
It
the-
apparently
Got damaged.
got damaged.
yeah, but it's fixed, the
Oh.
repair was, I think, $1,400 or something.
Oh.
The fan or something broke and it broke the radiator.
Oh, because the minutes that I read made it sound like it was a loss, and we were
Yeah.
going to collect insurance on it, and we
No,
were going
no,
to use
Jim-
that
Jim
and
got it
trade it in
fixed.
for.
The last meeting, I think Jim, he brought it down to Northern Tire, whatever the repair guy there is.
Northeast.
Northeast, on 16.
Yeah.
And
No, Northern
Okay,
Tire and
Northern
Alignment.
Tire,
I think
oh, okay.
I think that's where Jim brought it, and it just needed like a fan
A new
and a
something.
radiator. It was like $1,400.
Mhm.
That car is needed until we can get another one. It's kind of a backup, and Officer
It's the
Shack
next one to be replaced.
to be
It's
replaced.
on
yeah.
the list. Yeah.
And I think Officer Shackford uses it because he's in the academy for 2 or 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
He graduates soon.
He graduates at the end of August.
August, I
more
think.
than
So
that.
he's gonna need, we need a vehicle.
We need
So,
the 4th vehicle.
But there is on the CIP to buy a new patrol vehicle, next year?
Yeah, I think it was next
I think it was
year,
next
if
year.
I-
I forget the exact, I know, I
And
can't
they have an
remember.
ETF for it, so.
Yeah, no,
They
money has been
established-
set aside.
We
yeah,
did. We
yeah.
did.
Mhm.
We put 25,000 in
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
I believe.
And it's like $70,000 or something, totally outfitted for a new patrol vehicle.
So anyway,
Yeah.
those are at least 2 items on the CIP that we have to reevaluate and check to see and get. I do know that there was supposed to be, and I don't know if it happened because we have been in damage control mode. A letter that went to department heads to put together their CIP information, review what's in the CIP, update it, double check it, because come, I think it was September,
Mhm.
we would start meeting with department heads to go through
Yeah.
the CIP to see what, if any, changes actually need to be made and, so anyway. I don't know if that letter was,
I'm
or
not sure.
email or whatever, I don't know if that guidance was given to them.
I know Lucia was meeting with all of the department heads yesterday or today.
But-
She was having the big department head meeting.
Yeah, and I know
This week.
Tia was gonna be asking Joy, because Joy Gray sits on the CIP
CIP.
committee, and so she was tasked, if you will, with going back to talk about that.
Yeah. I don't know if, this is my opinion, I don't know, did we ever put the new backhoe on there? Was there?
I believe it is.
Is there, because the 2014 we have now is broken down twice
Twice.
during the emergencies and stuff. The oil cooler went out, which I had to run down and get one so we could get the thing back online. And then
Oh, it's in the other.
something broke in the front, the axle pin and had to be re-welded and reset, but we've spent some money on that thing. It's getting to that point where, you know, we're gonna be sinking money into it. But I remember, Sharon, when we initially went through the CIP, I thought maybe 28.
Right at the top of it.
There was replace the cat 420. Whatever. I mean, we don't have to dig through. I've just
Yeah.
because the last month or so we've spent some money on that thing.
Says to be determined, second backhoe, 1997 sold, 2025, 2014 shared GS and I.
Yeah, they're sharing it with the transfer station and
Right.
the DPW.
Okay.
But it's getting a lot of hours. It's 12 years old now,
Mhm.
and we've had two very expensive repairs.
And it's 200,000 to,
It's about 200, two and a quarter to
Let's see if it's-
replace it.
I would say it's not showing up, I would say it's not factored, it's listed, but I'd say it's not factored in
Okay.
here yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but that was just one item that we may want to consider. We'll have to talk with the DPW and
Okay,
see what the plans are. Why, my opinion on equipment like that is why it still has value, right? Say a new one is 225,000. If we can get 50, 60 grand for this one, you know what I mean, towards a new one,
mhm,
and
It's
don't
better than waiting a year and getting 15.
or wait like we did with the grader, we had
And-
zero,
right,
right? Because it was
right.
30 years old and it was
Oh, we
basically,
got 32,000.
I know, but
Didn't get zero, we got
I
a
know,
little
but
bit.
out of 409,000,
Yeah.
right? But if we can, you know what I mean? Before we spend a lot more money on repairs, right?
Well, and I
as we
think
go.
that's one of the reasons why
Yeah.
the CIP wants to meet with department heads,
Yeah.
is start to help them work through that cost benefit analysis, if
Yes.
you will, as to, okay, we hold it, it's worth 50,000 now, we hold it for 3 more years. What do we project that it's gonna be worth then, that we could get from it? Does it make sense to hold it that long, or does it
And
make sense?
what's your
to-
maintenance repair cost?
Right,
Why
in
hold
the-
it
in
another
the
3 years
meantime.
too? Yeah.
Nobody can necessarily predict accidents, like sliding off roads
No,
and
no,
those
but
kinds of
I'm
things.
thinking just wearing out as the
but-
machine gets
but,
hours
yeah.
on it.
mhm.
Anyway, and then I think September is when the cycle starts with regard to, if there are any projects or plans, programs or projects or major additions, that's when the paperwork from the department heads should start to flow with what that plan looks like, what those costs are, even the preliminary ones and estimates, to at least start getting that work included into the master CIP. So-
One item that we're gonna have to factor for is, we put in for the $300,000 grant for the new salt shed,
Mhm.
right? Because the one we have is falling apart. This keeps the salt from
Oh, yeah.
leaching into the
Leaching
groundwater into the lake. I believe that grant is 75%.
Mhm.
So, it's probably a $400,000 project.
Mhm.
The rural development grant will pay 300. We still
Yeah,
We're
would
still
have
on
to,
the hook for about 100,000.
like a warrant
Right.
article or something, for
Yeah.
100,000 towards a new shed or something.
Right, so that's something that, again, coming,
But we're gonna have to
August,
prep, if we
September.
get that grant, we're gonna need the matching money, right?
Right,
Having it approved by the taxpayers.
Yeah, it's listed for 2027.
Yeah, that's the federal grants for 27, so that'd be something we'd be doing, this time next year.
But there's
So the
nothing-
salt shed is
there's
on
no
there?
number, it's got a box, but no number in
number,
it yet.
right, so that's where some of
that's
this
where we
updating has
don't
to
know.
Yeah,
happen.
that's what I mean, we need to update,
Yeah.
kind
And
of.
maybe Joy has it. I only have the version as of January 30th.
Okay,
So she's,
I don't think
wasn't-
it's changed since
has it,
then.
I'm not sure.
Well, she
I
did
haven't
some
seen-
manipulation at the last CIP, not yesterday, but the previous
Mhm.
one. She was doing some changing, but she hasn't posted it out there for us to print it off, so.
Oh, I thought she said she did, but,
Well, maybe I don't think it's out there. I didn't see, I went looking today and I couldn't find it.
okay. All right then, anything else on the CIP?
No, that was good.
No. Any issues with the CIP for the school? No, I think we asked you that and you said no.
Yeah.
Ours is published every month in the
Well,
board packet,
I-
and it's been
pretty
Just
Just your
consistent.
garage,
Keep it
right,
up.
that's
The
kind of
garage,
the
yeah.
That's,
potential garage to
So-
replace all those sheds.
Has
Correct.
she had a chance to update it since the vote to use some of the unexpended fund balance to pay for the
I
bathrooms
would
and the,
venture to say no, yeah.
not yet, okay.
Based on the money that was to be, deducted from it this year.
And that
It's
was
not
no
going to happen.
information at your last board meeting anyway.
Correct.
You know, what the storm is like, you know, kind of a comparison. You know, it's like being homeowner and middle of the winter, and you go, you know, the heating guy comes in and goes, you need a new boiler, you know, for $8,000. That's what the storm did to our budget, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's similar to,
Yeah.
go, how am I going to pay for that?
Personally,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're not personal,
just-
right?
Tested my water and the guy said, you need a $8,000 system to take the radon out of your water.
Oh,
Because
jeez.
you are
Okay.
We had
over,
to do
Yeah.
that last
you
year.
are
But, you
over
know,
the limit,
The surprise, you know, the big surprise, you know, we couldn't predict the storm, we couldn't budget for it,
so.
you know.
No, you can't
So-
predict that.
All
I
right,
don't know.
let's keep moving so we can get out
Yeah,
of here in
let's
the
get
next
outta here.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Any administrative issues?
Mm-mm.
No?
No,
Nothing?
Not that I can think of.
All right. Then, anybody have any last comments? Questions, concerns, additions, deletions?
No, now work on this, you know, getting to spend the profit loss statement and stuff.
Let
the
me
best I
know
can.
what I can do
Yeah.
to help. I'm more than happy to come in and sit down and tell her
I'll
exactly
meet
what
with
we're
the,
looking
I'll meet
for.
with the ladies tomorrow, and let me see where we're at, so
Okay.
we get a better feel when they think, you know, we're gonna be at completion or, you know, having everything
Up to date,
reconciled.
or up
Yeah.
to date.
All right, that's my attitude.
I mean, it's not
for-
like if it doesn't happen on that day, we're gonna, you know,
No, I know, but
string them up and set them on fire. But it would be nice to know, hey, this is gonna take us another 2 months, or no, I
No,
think I should
I
have it
know.
in 2 weeks, or no, yeah, we're gonna be lucky if we get this by the end of the
no,
fiscal
I know,
year.
and again, just make sure we have good numbers for the public hearing next Tuesday.
Mhm.
That's critical,
Yeah.
so
That's
that's kind of a
absolutely
priority.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a priority.
Good numbers. All right. Anything else? No?
I move we adjourn.
Any seconds?
Oh, I'll second that. We agree on something.
All right.
All in
clap high.
favor?
Are we leaving in peace and as friends
Yeah.
here? Okay, all right,
All
just
right,
wanna make
so
sure.
we still have to vote. Aye. All
Aye.
in favor?
All right.
Say aye.
I'm not.
I'm not
Now how you wanna play?